right, everybody. Well, welcome back to another episode of the Blazer Victory Podcast. John Duncan here. And of course, I'm joined as always with my co-hosts, Darian Smith and Jimmy Marion. And guys, UAB was able to get it done 76-73 in overtime over the 20th ranked FAU Owls. But before we get into recapping that game, reminder, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's at Blazer Pod on YouTube. And if you're watching us now on YouTube, hit that like and comment in the chat about your experience in Bartow last night in that awesome game as UAB was able to get it done. An electric atmosphere again in Bartow Arena. And we'll get into that in a little bit, but make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel, and so that you don't miss any future episodes of the Blazer Victory Podcast. But
Hey, John,
what's that, Darren?
it's a lot of I see this a lot of students it's just warm my heart, and I'm pretty sure they need a source, right? Like they want to relive that moment and just get back in that moment. Come here, we talk about the games, like all of the students. We need to connect more with the students here at the Blazer Pod, man. So all of those people in that student section, and y'all want to relive that magic moment. It's plenty more magic moments to go. It's plenty more to go. So I know me. I like my favorite podcasts and my favorite teams. I like to go back, and I just like to relish it now. It may be a little different after losses. I get it, but especially we'll be here, win, lose, or draw. We're right here, students. If you listen to this, if you're a student that listen to Blazer Pod, and go to Gang Green, go to all the let's start spreading the love on campus, because those are the people that's there and they're supporting. So I really want them to engage more with us and have more of an impact there.
Yes, definitely well said, Darren. And also, hey, if you guys skipped the SMU Game Recap episode, we noticed that our downloads weren't as high as they have been. Even though it's a loss, guys, please make sure to go back and watch that video, and I'll include it at the end of the this video, because it's very important. I get people may not want to listen to a loss, especially a close loss, but there were important lessons that had to be learned in that SMU game. And it's clear that UAB has learned, from those. And they took exactly what we talked about last time, guys. They went after FAU, and they didn't let John L. Davis get going crazy, and they contained Golden. But so definitely, hey, if you haven't watched the last episode of the SMU recap and previewing the FAU game, go back and listen to that right after this episode. But this game recap episode and all game recap episodes of the Blazer Victory Podcast are sponsored by Cahaba Brewing Company. Shout out to Cahaba. Thank you so much for sponsoring the Blazer Victory Podcast. Guys, if you have not been down to the tap room, what are you waiting for? Get down to the tap room this weekend and check out their new Cahaba Blonde, the blood orange blonde. Like I said last episode, I'm hopefully going to get down there either hopefully Saturday, tomorrow, to check out that new beer from Cahaba. But as always, if you're at your local supermarket and you see a 6-pack of Cahaba beer, whether it's the blonde, IPA, lager, pale ale, make sure you pick that up. And if you go down to the tap room, let them know that you heard about Cahaba from the Blazer Victory Podcast. As I say, all the time, it helps us out, but it also helps out Cahaba. So shout out to Cahaba. Again, Blazer fans, make it down there to the tap room. But guys, 76-73. Whew, what a game. What an electric atmosphere in Bartow Arena for a second game in a row. We talked about the Memphis game, a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, I think. How that environment felt last night. I know that we had less capacity, but those 5,300 people that were there in Bartow Arena were loud, especially the student section. Darren, you just mentioned that. But Jimmy, what are your just initial thoughts, coming away from? I know none of us got to sleep till like 1 a.m. I had to pop some melatonin to get me to sleep to get up this morning. But Jimmy, talk a little bit about that atmosphere in Bartow Arena last night.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the atmosphere was awesome. You mentioned 5,300, right? I thought the crowd was really engaged for the vast majority of the game. The student section, we've talked about them already to start the episode, were just fantastic. AK said in the post game he thought it was the best and most engaged student section that we've had all year, and that's saying something, right? Because the Memphis game, they were quite rowdy as well. And I know the 8 o'clock tip time is tough, on families, but the people that were there were engaged, and it's just really cool where we sit. So, John, I know you were sitting by, down where we are in 119, just to look straight across and to like to see the students. Like it's like a really cool angle, and so it was just a great moment for sure. But for me, UAB just wrapped up its fourth game on national television and finished that four-game period 3-1. So kudos to the team, kudos to the staff for taking advantage of that opportunity. Kind of a quick story for y'all is that last Sunday during the SMU game, Natalie had left around halftime of said game to go to a little local restaurant to pick up food for us that were watching the game here. And while she was at said restaurant, it was El Cazador, Mexican. She was at the checkout and she had texted me a photo and she said, "Hey, they're playing the game in here." I think that game was on ESPN2, if I remember right. And coming from somebody that's been, watching UAB events for 20 years, I'm so used to getting out a mobile device or a laptop or going to some pirated website back in the day to get
Or
some
Facebook, watch it on
Facebook,
beIN
BN, New, whatever it's, just everything, right? And then not only that, but when you are talking about an upcoming game, people would ask like, "Hey, how's UAB doing this season?" Or like, "Who they play next?" or whatever. But they don't have the opportunity because a lot of people may not have ESPN Plus, or they're certainly not going to go to Facebook to watch the feed or whatever it is. They're not going to go check out, potentially the box score to watch the stats live. But these last four games, for people just to be able to turn on a TV, you don't have to call ahead of time and be like, "Hey, do y'all have ESPN Plus?" At the place. That's just so big. So the first part of that is the opportunity, like the opportunity to play on that stage. And for people that are just sitting at dinner and they're having a conversation, they look up and they're like, "Oh, UAB's playing." Say, "Oh, that guy's got 20 plus rebounds. Who is that?" Or, "Hey, what a dish by EG," or a three by, step back three from EG, or "Who is this Butter guy that's, just hitting these clutch shots?" Like that's huge. And I just want to just express my excitement that UAB was able to take advantage of this four-game streak and go 3-1. Even the one loss they had, they were up 10. We talked about it. So just shout out to the team, shout out to the coaching staff for taking advantage. And hopefully this is just going to propel not just here us casually, like the casual fans in Birmingham, but to get that market reach, to extend it to other people that are just sitting in a bar having a drink and they're like, "Oh, that's an awesome game. That's close. Oh, what a shot. Who is UAB? What are they about?" So just awesome job by all involved.
And Darian, I want to hear your thoughts. I know you were able to, watch it on TV. Unfortunately, you weren't able to make it out. You had a fussy baby. He's a dad of four. Hey, he's trying to hold it down in the Smith household. But Darian, could you hear the students? Could you hear Bartow? Like,
So
especially,
loud.
woo, man,
It was
talk about it. Yeah.
It was so loud, man. I was so proud. I had thought about the football games. You go on a losing streak, right? And a lot of times they try to do these zoomed in angles because like it's no excitement, it's minimum fans there, so they try to keep it in. Man, like just watching the game on my, I had it on my phone because I'm trying to hold the baby. I had another kid having a tantrum. I had a stressed out wife, and I had a whole bunch of stuff going on. I'm still locked into the game no matter what, right? Trying to do everything, and then it's so many times just watching it. It's so cool to see them panning out every time, and it's like it looked like one of the best environments in college basketball. Like they kept showing, the students, ransom, everybody's moving around, and then it was just loud. And at one point, the announcer was like, I don't know if it was on the Butter Three, which I'm gonna get to, or if it was another play. But he was like, "Man, it's so loud in here." He was like, "It's so loud in here, you can barely, the players couldn't even hear that it was like a timeout." Like it was so loud. I'm like, man. So I want to first start with shout out to Ransom, man. I think what was the first game they had came to? Was that the USF game?
So they came to a couple of games this past season, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this year It had to have been a Sunday game, if memory serves me right. I think it was like a Sunday afternoon game. Cannot remember the opponent, but yeah, they went Darren from showing up and like they had the whole
Was it
that one.
Montevallo? I think it
It
was
might have
Montevallo
been. It
because
was
I
that
left
one
at
Yeah,
halftime.
particular.
it was a smaller
Yeah.
team. And
Yes.
I remember that, and I just want to get to that because I feel like they've been like this mediator between the fans and the students because they came. It's like we had to have somebody teach us how to re-engage again as a fan base, right? And it's like they came and they had so much energy, and I just remember kind of seeing that. I'm like, man, this is cool, and you can tell that the players, specifically Yaks, you can tell that he really appreciated it. Like their energy did something to the team, but at the same time, as them, just being fans, it looked like they was just having fun. Like they were having a good time. The players were energized by it. The coaches loved it. AK has said something a couple of times about Ransom, and then it's like they kind of was like a teacher. I don't know who idea it was to get him in here. I don't know what it was, but in a strange way, I feel like they have a major part in changing this season because they brought the energy, and now all of a sudden the people around them started bringing energy. Our players really fed off of that. So just to come back around to, it seemed like more and more energy, it was growing game by game, and then we get to the Memphis game, right, which was crazy. And I was more so proud because we have been critical of our student section. I know I have specifically. I've tweeted about it. I've talked about it. The guy, they would do this, that you see them on their phone, and it just was like, what is this? This is not a student section. I would get jealous looking at other teams and seeing their student section. But just to see the magic that they brought, and it's kind of like we said about capturing those moments and how you have to make the fans feel like, oh, it's like a can't miss event, right? Like this is where you're supposed to be, not just to support the team, but this is fun. Like this is how we do it over here. And just to come back around to the FAU game, it's kind of like, yeah, you know what we're gonna do, how we do over here. And that's the feeling I got. It wasn't about, oh, we're here to support the team. It's like, hey, we're here to have fun. I cannot miss this event. I'm here to have fun. This is what we do over here at UAB. Let me show y'all how to do it. That's what I felt coming through the phone. It's like this is how we get down in Birmingham. If you're not here, you missing out. I was at home with my baby. I'm sitting here like, I'm missing out. That's how I felt. I don't. We haven't. When the last time have we had that feeling? Like you kind of, a lot of times people look and be like, ain't nobody there. Oh, whatever. I'm pretty sure it was somebody in the bar. It was somebody in the restaurant that was looking at that game. It was like, man, that's 20 minutes down the street. Next one, I can't miss that one. I didn't know they was getting out that call. I'm telling you, on my phone, bro, like I was about to go crazy. All I know is, okay, 20 Yaks, 21 rebounds. Okay, Johnson, butter. And it was just the coolest thing in person. I'm just sitting there like, butter, right? And it was just like the whole environment created within and how the input and the output. Jimmy was having problems with his input and output before the game, right? The input was golden. The output was fantastic. Not just the students, not just the student section, not just the crowd, but the energy that the players receive from this. Like, and I texted y'all, I was like, no one wants to play us in Bartow. No one. I feel like we can beat anybody in the nation. If you come to Bartow and we bring that energy, the crowd going, like, we have a chance to beat anybody in Bartow. I think the next step for us is making sure we take that on the road and sustain it on the road. Like, have that be a part of our core identity as a team. But here, like, I'm just so proud of the staff and the community and the students. Thank you, Ransom. Like, please be forever be a part of this community because I feel like they were so critical. I feel like it needs to be a documentary on it. Like, they were so critical in helping us bring that energy, but just how to have a good time. And I think we're seeing how it all plays out because this affects recruiting. It affects wins and losses, but just to see the environment and just see it on now, like Jimmy said, now as a recruit, I'm sitting here like, I know we signed that number 3 guard in JUCO. I'm pretty sure he was looking at the game like, oh, this gonna be my team. Another thing I saw Jelly. Second time I done a couple times I done seen Jelly. Like Jelly is like full on support, and you can tell he's excited. Like I retweeted him. It was like, man, the boy, big shot butter. Like we behind y'all all the way. That's so cool because Jelly is from freaking New York. He's from New York. He has adopted UAB in Birmingham. Like, this is my home. I'm so proud of my guys. You know how important it is to see, especially as if I'm a recruit, I'm seeing like, dang, y'all really do it's beyond basketball. It's beyond, you see how much we're supporting Trey and retweeting everything. It's beyond basketball. And that is what make it feel like home. When it's beyond basketball, it's beyond wins and losses. Y'all care about me on my other endeavors, and I'm just so proud. Just seeing all of that work together, to me, is the best. Before we actually talk about the players, all of that just mean a lot. And this is how you sustain results. We just got to keep it going. But this is it. We found a formula.
Definitely well said, Darren. Yeah, one of the best feelings, Jimmy, Big Jim, Brad, and I, we lost our minds when Butter hit that shot. Like, everybody was going crazy. I'm high-fiving people I don't even know, saying, let's go, let's go. And, we'll get to Golden in a minute from FAU, but there was no flopping in the stands. Everybody was ecstatic. No flopping. Everybody was for real ecstatic, jumping up and down. Students brought it. Swag surf going. I can't name any of the other songs. I know they had a Lil Baby song. Something else, but I'm showing my age. But guys, I mean, fantastic environment in Bartow last night, and if we can just
you talk about the songs. It was one time you could hear it on through my phone. It was all the way turned up.
I know that song.
Yeah, but I'm just saying you heard it through, and you could just see like the crowd was going. I was like, oh, miss it out. It seemed like a big ass party. Like, I'm just like, oh man, I just wanted to be there. Dang, it was crazy.
I'm probably about to get clipped for this, but what's that song that he or something? What was it? What's the name of that song? I don't know. Like,
saying it now, you got to do it all. And
I don't know, man. That shows you I'm not cool.
That's like the shortest example of a song that you could give Darian.
I don't know the words, man. I don't know the words.
But I mean,
it's a female.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, I know Jimmy don't know.
Yeah, I'm out.
A female.
Was it Doja Cat? No. Is Doja Cat a rapper? I don't even know, man.
Hold on, I need more. That's all you remember?
Bro, I don't know what they were saying, but all the student section was like, yeah. It was turned.
Because I'm a music person. Like, I know what you're talking about, but man, I need more than I don't know. It was lit. That sounds like a penguin in distress or something. Or
like a rooster in distress or something.
I'll listen to this, students. Y'all let me know what is he talking about.
Hey, yeah, somebody in the comments, tell me what. Because I want to look that song up and listen to it. Yeah, that sounds cool. But hey.
Oh no, ski yee. Is that what you talking about?
That's what they were saying. Yeah. What does ski yeet mean?
That's Sexy Red. If you see me, then they try to see what's up, ski yeet.
Oh, yeah. I was vibing with it. I don't even know what this is, but let's go.
I'm impressed that Darian was able to figure that out, like with such limited information. That's what's up.
Yeah, he's got me. Hey, he knew. He knew.
I got my bro. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty cool. Yeah, that's a popular song. If you watch Hard Knocks and you watch the Jets, they had like a thing over there when they was doing the ski, and that's how they became popular within the sports world. Like on Hard Knocks, they was all rocking out to it and stuff. So yeah, check that episode out on Hard Knocks. But yeah, ski. What's that? Okay.
Oh man! All right, hey Jimmy, give us some stats, buddy. Get some stats from this guy.
I'm trying to recover real quick. So, hey, y'all can tell we're sleep deprived. This is gonna be a kind of a crazy pod.
Jimmy, do you know who Sexy Red is?
Bruh, my wife's a Sexy Red.
Oh, hey, happy early Valentine's Day. Yeah.
How you like that? So, no, I have no idea who Sexy Red is. So let's talk about some of these guys.
Kind of old up here, bro. Like,
let's talk about
the only one. I can't be the only one that's hip. Like,
ski.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get into the stats.
Hey, let's get into some sexy stats real quick. So let's talk about Yaks.
I like
Why don't we start talking about Yaks real quick, because that dude had a monster game, right? He really did it all. When you look at the box score and you're looking at what Yaks was able to contribute to this contest, 17 points, but 7 of 11 from the field, 64% high efficiency. He hit a three. Vlad's going to play that drop coverage, and so he was able to connect from deep, which was good. 21 rebounds was a career high. That's just ridiculous. That's actually his fourth game in a row with double-digit rebounds, which is impressive. 3 assists, 2 steals, a block. 45 minutes was another career high for him. And really, FAU didn't have an answer. I mean, down the stretch, UAB was getting the ball to Yaks, and he was just using his frame, using his body to get to the rim and get easy baskets. And then what's great is all Yaks has done is just play and ball out against ranked opponents. So let's not forget that the last ranked opponent that Yaks went against was Memphis at Bartow Arena, and in that game he had 23 points and 16 rebounds. So you look at the last 2 games against ranked opponents in Bartow Arena for Yaks, 40 points and 37 rebounds. I mean, dude is just like an absolute monster.
That's crazy.
It's nuts, right?
That's crazy,
it is nuts.
Man.
Crazy.
Yeah. And so we've talked about him when he's usually getting those 20 plus points. He's also getting like 15 plus boards. I mean, he's just absolutely on a tear. I know he didn't have the best game. I think it was against SMU, but ultimately, and that was on the offensive end. But he's just showing out early and often. If you were to look at the game log for Yaks, look at his first like 5-6 games and see, the trajectory and the evolution of his confidence and like what he was able to accomplish. And then look now and it's like, who is this person? Like, what happened? So just shout out to him. I thought that we'd start off with just commending him for his career highs in 45 minutes played, as well as 21 rebounds.
Yeah, for Yaks, one thing is in the beginning of the game, so it's a matchup thing with FAU. They play Janelle Davis, Boyd. They play Martin, Golden. They essentially play 4 guards. I think they have Greenlee and Witherspoon out there. They kind of play like 4 guards. Now, one of them, like I think Witherspoon may be 6'5" or whatever, but they play 4 guards and 1 big center, right? And it's a matchup problem on both ends, because on one end you have them with their quickness and how fast they are to the ball, and they really showed that the first game we played them in Boca in kind of in the first half that they were way quicker to the ball, especially offensive rebounding, right? They always get these multiple opportunities, and they were getting the 50-50 balls, and they found they were the whole time I was watching, I was like, Yaks is the mismatch here, because we got JD for Golden, and they was putting Janelle Davis on Yaks, but Janelle Davis is a physical guard, but there's no way in hell he should be able to hold Yaks, right? But what they were doing was just trying to front. If Yaks was trying to post up, they was trying to front him aggressively, have help behind him, and then if he got the ball, they were really moving their feet and trying to get like offensive fouls and stuff on him. So you have to. One thing I feel like Yaks figured out, Yaks is a raw player. So you look at the difference between the first half and the second half, like they were really moving their feet, they was like just baiting him into contact, in which he did a good job of not taking it for the most part. But that second half, I feel like it was a breakthrough. He really figured it out. He really started taking his time. He started taking his time when he posted up, because if you think about it, if I'm quicker than you and I'm moving my feet and you're so big or whatever, as soon as you run into me, offensive foul, like you couldn't, but he was able to like, nope, not an offensive foul. He kind of was able to work them down, and then they were having to send help and do all of this other stuff to try to figure out, because he realized, I feel like another step in basketball was, it's not about how fast you go, it's about the pace. If you ever seen like Luka Doncic play, all of us here are more athletic than Luka. Luka is not athletic, dude. Like, he is not. But his understanding of pace and speed, he knows when to go quick and to stop and use his skills, like, it's unmatched. He's on another level with it. Yaks figured some of that out the other day, because Janelle couldn't do nothing with him. The first game, but they just knew how to play Yaks, right? What was his stats that first game. It was like he didn't have a good game in Boca because they were doing the same thing to him. Like they played him with a smaller guard and they moved their feet, and it's like he had like 2 offensive fouls that game and he couldn't really get going. Anybody got that pulled up?
Yeah, he went 2 of 6 from the field. He had 8 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, a block. But I mean, when you compare 8 points, 5 rebounds to 17 points and 21 boards, it was a different game for sure.
Yeah, I just feel like it's the game within the game, right? They took away his aggressiveness. Like I think he felt like in order for me to be impactful, I can't be this aggressive. Like they really got into his mind that game, and he was just trying to figure out. But this game, he just figured out you don't have to go fast all the time. You can still be physical, but you got to do it. It's like it was just a different boxing style match, and he figured out, oh, okay, they're boxing me lefty. Let me just figure out how to counter this southpaw. It was just something that and I love to see him grow. I'm glad you talked about the first couple of games he had, and Jimmy was the first to point out like his confidence. He just needs confidence. You can tell he's so raw, and we've seen that confidence grow. Now he know what he's capable of. He know he's him. Now he's trying to figure out the nuances of basketball, how to be better. And it's so funny. I saw a FAU account tweet, and they were like, "Man, this Yaks guy, he's just so raw." They were like, "Give Will," is like a troll Memphis account. Y'all know who I'm talking about, that Will. They were like, "Give Will some time." He tweeted this back in January. He said, "Give Will some time. He's gonna be talking about he's gonna be the new Memphis. The next year he's gonna be the new Memphis Tiger." And then Will had tweeted, he retweeted that. He was like, "Oh man," he was like, "But you're looking at your starting center for your 2024-2025 Memphis Tigers." I'm like, "Get the hell out of here, man!" You know, like. Yaks is really figuring it out, and I think he's peaking at the right time. He's going to just take these lessons on the road. That's the next step for him. Keep on learning, take it on the road. And this dude, we got something special in him because now he's figuring out pace and control. I don't know what you do with him when he figure out that.
Yeah, and also, staying on that subject about growth, shout out to Christian Coleman, man, tying a career high 14 points, getting after goal, and I think he had 5 boards too. But you really do see the confidence building in him as well as Will Shaver, man, quality minutes. Hey,
he stuffed that shot. He blocked that guy.
Play of the game, right?
Not in his paint.
Doesn't he look healthier? Doesn't he look a tad bit more spry?
Yes.
He doesn't look so heavy, and man, that's a good sign.
He looked good last night.
He held his own,
and we needed him. When JD, he was in foul trouble early on. He had to sit most of the first half, and then he gets in the second half and picks up 2 quick ones in the technical. And I mean, that's a whole another subject that we could get into, but I know we're kind of running short on time. But shout out to Will Shaver coming in clutch, delivering quality minutes when JD was in foul trouble. But I definitely wanted to shout out Coleman and Shaver, and shout out to the staff, man. Y'all just talked about the last experience in Boca. I really do think AK and this staff kind of studied that film and prepared the guys really well for what happened last night, because it's not like FAU tried anything drastically different, I mean, yeah, shout out to the staff, too.
Shout out to the staff on developing the guys.
Yes.
Do y'all remember where we were at? I keep on going back to that. We was getting blew out by Arkansas State, and we were trying to figure out. I remember those AK press conferences. Mm-hmm. It was kind of like trying to figure it out. And it's one thing about our fan base, sometimes we tend to be a little impatient because we miss out on moments. And when we started off 0-2, 2 close games that we lost, right? And it's like, the season. I'm like, no, you can enjoy. One thing you can enjoy about this staff is the growth. Like, I have confidence that AK will figure out. We always said up here, it's like, we got the ingredients. But how do we mix it together? And the staff really, really developed guys. So if you're a recruit, you looking at this, you'll be like, hey man, that's a school, that's a coach that's a staff I want to play for. Look how they done developed. Look at Yaks. Look at Christian Coleman. Y'all know Coleman been my boy, and we all had our players. But also shout out to Gaines before we move on. Just quick shout out to Gaines and JD. They probably didn't have the flashy stats this game, but you can tell they had the competitive energy. You had games with the too small. You had a little too little.
Yeah.
And I love the fight in JD that he had. Get that technical, like going to their huddle, like threaten to punch him in the face. I love stuff like that, right? Because that let me know you fully engaged. Like it's F them and it's all about us and we're here to win. We ain't trying to have a more victory. We feel like we should win. Because guess what? They're 0-8 in Bartow.
Ain't never won in Bartow. Yeah, that's
They
right.
ain't never won in Bartow. So it's plenty more of that to come.
Hey, real quick, bro. I know you brought up EG. Jimmy and I saw this. He missed that free throw at the end of the game. He's like, Jimmy, what was he doing immediately? I mean, he celebrated, but immediately after that, what did he come do?
John, I blacked out. You're gonna have to remind me. Was it the block?
He went over there and shot another free throw.
Oh, yeah. Right after the game. Yeah,
right after the game, man. He knew he missed the free throw he shouldn't have.
He made it too, didn't he?
And he sure did. He made that one after the game. But you love to see that. And I know, it came out after one of our episodes, after the North Texas episode. Per source, we found out why he wasn't starting in that game due to being late to practice. But hey, you see the continued growth, him developing as a leader on this team, and you just love to see that, man. You really do. And Jimmy, I know you've got a couple stats for us, and I know we need to wrap up because we're over 30.
Yeah. So just you mentioned Christian Coleman. So he did score all 14 bench points for UAB last night. He's actually blocked a shot in at least. He's blocked at least one shot in 6 straight games. I'll talk about why that's important here in a second. He's had 2 straight games in double figures, and when you look at his career as a Blazer, he only had scored double figures 3 times in the 21 games prior. So he's really coming on here as of late. He had those 2 big time baskets in overtime. He had the mid range jumper followed by the layup. So he was really taking Golden off, the dribble. And he had that kind of scoop layup on Golden a few times, avoiding Golden getting the block. Speaking of Golden, I was surprised not to see him flop in the handshake line because I was certainly looking for that. But looking at Christian Coleman, we're always trying to correlate, at least I am, kind of individual and team stats and how it relates to winning. UAB's 9-3 this season when Christian Coleman blocks a shot, compared to 5-5 when he does not. And UAB is also 8-3 when Christian Coleman hauls in at least 5 rebounds. And so the last 2 games, Christian Coleman, even though we had lost to SMU, has hauled in at least 5 rebounds. And he's, again, blocked a shot in 6 straight contests. So he's active on the boards. He's active defensively. And his offensive game is starting to stretch out from the basket. And he's developed a really nice mid-range jumper, which is much needed for this UAB offense. Outside of that, real quick, Butta, this is your daily reminder that Butta has that clutch gene. How many times do you have to witness it to be a believer? Do you believe? Deion Sanders quote there. This guy is unreal, and he's certainly one of my favorite players. But what's great is he's not just clutch, but he's also becoming a lot more consistent. So that's 4 straight games in double figures for Butta. He's actually scored in double figures 8 of the last 10 games. He's had 2 or more made threes in 4 straight games. And most importantly, in those 4 games from beyond the arc, he's shooting 40+% from 3-point range. So he's doing everything. He's scoring double figures. He's shooting the 3 ball. He's shooting efficiently from 3. He's hitting clutch shots. So congrats to Butta. We certainly had quite the time when you hit that shot.
What number does Butta wear?
24, man. 24.
So they just unveiled the Mamba statue, the Kobe Bryant statue, whatever, and I just thought about that. They unveiled that yesterday, and I'm just like, he has that Mamba mentality. Not only like at the end of games, he's the guy. He's gonna be the guy, but in those times where the game is like a team goes up 7, it's kind of feel like the game is imbalance. Like, oh, we're kind of looking for offense. We go to him every time. And he always delivers. It's always that corner 3 they like to run, that play, and they get him to where he fading coming off, and he always hits that corner 3, like kind of, not only is the guy he puts us up, but he's the guy that steadies the ship. he is the steady hand every time. Or if it's that little pick and roll mid-range jumper that he hits, he always just like, it's always a go-to shot. And I saw, and then shout out to Gaines, shout out to AK. Like Gaines kind of had it at the end, that play with he hit the big three, and it was kind of like, stop, get his ball to Butter, like give it to Butter real quick. Like no offense to anyone else, he came off the screen, logo three, Butter. Like it's so refreshing to have that player on your team. It's like, hey man, we know who we need to get it to in this time to calm us down, or we know who we need to get it to put us up, and we got that guy on our team, so I'm just happy that he has that Mamba mentality to him.
Definitely. And hey, shout out to the team as well. I mean, this is the first time since the 2009 and 2010 season that UAB has picked up more than one win in the season over a ranked opponent. So let that sink in. UAB is peaking at the right time. We'll travel down to Tulsa this Sunday at 1 o'clock on ESPN Plus. Tulsa's not good, but hey, it's a road conference game. So UAB needs to be locked in just as much as they were for this FAU game heading down to Tulsa. Guys, just programming note, Patreon supporters, tomorrow, Saturday morning, you will have a brand new episode in your feed as we discuss the new signings for National Signing Day and recap the 205-day event that happened at Iron City Wednesday night. As a reminder, you can sign up for the Patreon, patreon.com/BlazerPod for just $5 a month. Gets you access to all exclusive episodes of the Blazer Victory Podcast Patreon. Or you can even join annually and save 10% off that annual subscription. So sign up if you haven't already. Help spread the word. Drink Cahaba Beer. And Jimmy, I will throw it to you to send us out.
All right, y'all. I got a surprise for y'all. Hold up.
YouTube. Oh, snap. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
You just lost.
You got to subscribe to us on YouTube to see this. Man, he just took the shirt off and put the shirt on. Let's go. The Blazers. Hey, you on mute, bro?
I'm on mute. I'm so hype. I'm on mute. Hey, shout out to Parker. You just lost to the Blazers.
The Blazers.
The Blazers.
Ski. Hey, real quick though, before we wrap, me and Darian need a shirt. Jimmy gets one.
Hey, you didn't make the list. It was Joe Webb. It was
Joe
Jax.
Webb, Jimmy. Yeah,
it was Jesus, and then it was Jimmy. All of us were on the top 10.
It's Sexy Red.
It's probably going to go to Sexy Red. Let's be for real. But the Blazers.
The Blazers. Hey, follow them on Instagram. They are hilarious. It's DA_BLAZUHS as I'm reading off Jimmy's shirt on YouTube. Let's get it. Ski. Oh, man. Hey, Jimmy, send us. Hey, get it off mute. Send us in.
You just lost to the Blazers. Just Blaze, baby.